Alrighty, welcome back to part 2 of Brews with the Homies. So remember how we told you we had a special guest, and we're here at Beer Zombies Boulder City. We got the man, the myth, the legend himself. We got Chris. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, man. You're going to have to follow me around and introduce me like that all the time.
I will. You just let me know when to show up.
Yeah, he's the perfect hype man. I've seen him at events, and he can really get everyone going.
Couple of conventions at did Level Up Expo, and that's what they had me do, was be the MC and get everybody hyped and going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're here at the bottle share that is going to be starting here in less than an hour. So we're going to be sitting here shooting the shit, and we're going to ask Chris some questions, and then we're going to have Vinny on here as well. So, fellas, you guys excited for today?
Oh yeah, we brought so much great beer. We've been previewing it on social media, so people got to see. We have Fidens, Monkish, we have all different types of stouts, Barleywine, so a lot of fun, different stuff. We got the Lazy Dog beers that we had on part 1 of the episode, so if people want to try that. And then, of course, there's 12 different options on the board right now, so a bunch of stuff with Jay Wakefield up there, so a lot of people, you know, as we're doing tasters, getting people to try this new beer, they can order full pours here and enjoy themselves. So just super pumped to get to celebrate you and James for your guys' birthday.
Yeah, happy birthdays.
Thank you.
Plural, they're days.
Yes, days.
And it'll be fun to, you know, sit down, have a little conversation with you guys, and kind of just ask some cool questions that have been on our mind about the beer industry and kind of things that your special point of view, because you're deep into it. You guys have done something very special and crafted an experience that is kind of changing the game a little bit. I think that it's really pushing boundaries, and all the collabs that you guys have been doing across the board is really like inspiring to see, and we're seeing more companies branch out, and we're seeing collabs all the time from people in California to Miami, all the way in between. So it's just cool from our perspective to try all these beers, have it, and then now get the insight and to have you guys on. It's really awesome.
And the crazy part is I just released that Mosaic Juice collab with Kings again.
Yeah.
So that was basically like the 6-year anniversary of the first collab I ever did.
Oh,
so
wow.
6 years of collabs as of last weekend.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations on that. Hopefully we've got 6 more years.
It's a lot of collabs, man.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of collabs.
Do you ever keep track? Do you have like, do you know?
I looked, so when I was first doing it, I was keeping a can of every collab I did.
Yeah.
And I have, I don't know, 100, 150 cans.
Yeah.
So I'm not real sure exactly, but it's 100 plus collabs, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome. One thing I've always loved about like the whole Beer Zombies brand with you guys is you guys keep re-innovating yourselves and keeping you guys yourself relevant. So like, is that starting to become more difficult now, or is it now just become like second nature and easy for you guys?
No, I mean, that's the hardest part about having any type of brand. You gotta remember, Beer Zombies started off as a social media page.
Yeah.
So it was never meant to be what it turned into.
Yeah.
So every time that I kind of took it to the next level, or, you know, reinvented it, or tried to stay current, and, you know, it was just another iteration of that original vision, which was starting like what you guys did. You know, the whole idea was to start a social media page to show my love for craft beer.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't wake up and say, hey, I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to write a business plan. I literally drew a hot bearded zombie logo and was like, that's cool. I should make a page on that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is it's not. I mean, the more you get to know me, you know, people kind of always think like that I'm like standoffish or quiet because I'm always working and stuff.
Yeah.
But my mind is ADD. Like, I have zero idea what I'm doing until I wake up in the morning and decide it. So if I get up and I'm like, you know what, I think collabs are something we should work on today, I'll hit up some of the friends, we'll do a collab, we'll get something on the books. If it's, let's throw an event or a fest, there's never like a clear path. And I think that kind of helps staying current, because I don't have like this, you know, tunnel vision where I have to stay into that I need to accomplish these things. I just do what feels right.
Yeah. That's always good to hear that, because, you know, a lot of people try to plan it out and then they get flustered when the plan doesn't work out. And it sounds like when you got to, like you said, you wake up, all right, this is what I'm going to get done today, and that's what you get done. And it's always cool to see that. It always like keeps us on our toes, because when we think, oh, I wonder if they're going to do this or do that, and then you do a complete like 180 and it's something different, we're like, ooh, we never thought about that. That's
it feels
cool.
natural. It's like one of those things, like when you're expecting like a brand to do something, or you follow them all the time, like, oh, I think I could guess what's next, or I think like what this is going to happen, and then you guys are like, no, we're going to throw a yoga event. You guys just did your beer and yoga yesterday.
I mean, huge turnout, and that's the thing, you never know. We could have had 0 people show up. It was packed out yesterday. People loved it. So, I mean, even like with the Beer Zombies Brewing Company, that was never like the way that came about. I wanted to have my own beer for Beer Zombies Fest, the last one before COVID.
Yeah.
I was only supposed to do one 15-barrel batch of beer every other month, so 6 times a year, 15 barrels. I'm currently doing about 400 barrels a month with 6 different beers a month.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't the idea of, it was just kind of like I said, I just kept going. This works, and then boom. And now we're in 42 states and 20 countries. So it's not, like I said, it doesn't have like a plan on it. It's just what feels right.
Yeah.
And we, I have the same 2 mottos that I've always had. A rising tide lifts all boats. So if you can help somebody in the community, then that's plan 1, right?
Yes.
And the other thing is to drink good beer with good people. So if when I wake up and I decide what I want to do and it fits in both those boxes, that's how I literally decide.
Yeah.
If making money is a bonus, absolutely. I did this stuff for free for a long time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it wasn't about making money. It obviously now this is different. It turned into a whole business. And there's stuff to it, but I made my decisions about the 2 boxes that made me happy.
Yeah.
And then everything else came along with that.
Well, that's such a crucial point, because a lot of people, when they get into hobbies or get into stuff, it's to do what you love and share experiences with people. That's kind of why we started this, and like having these experiences, because of COVID really pushed us to be like, well, we want to do more stuff. We want to hang out with our homies and share good beer, share the experiences, and it kind of brought everything together. And that's why it's awesome to have these conversations with you, and I kind of share this insight because I think a lot of people appreciate to hear it straight from you and how you see the industry and how you want to help people, and that's how help guide you through your journey. Because when I listened to you on, I think it was the XM radio with Jay Wakefield, when he had that conversation with you about how you started, I was like, wow, there's stuff that I kind of knew, but to see in depth of how your story started.
I've had a couple people reach out and they're like, dude, we should write like a book or something.
Yeah,
because
it's just an amazing
if you really
journey.
think about it, the idea behind social media is that you can use that platform to, if there's multiple things, but if you're looking at it as a business standpoint, right?
Yeah.
So for you guys, right, you're going to use social media to reach more people and hope that you get more listeners, and then maybe you'll eventually get advertising money, and it turns into a thing.
Yeah.
So when I started it, no one was doing collabs with people that weren't breweries.
Yeah.
I was literally like the first person. Nobody knew about it. I remember when Jeremiah from Kings actually introduced it, people were like, you're doing a collab with a brand? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
So it was not something, now it's a little more common, right?
Yeah.
You guys could get a collab, a podcast collab. You guys
Yeah.
could do, I've seen sunglasses and different things. So when I first started it, it was kind of like me showing like it's a possibility,
You were breaking down the barriers and the
Yeah, it's
stereotype.
definitely like
of
a
it.
big barrier to overcome, because now you just see so many clubs, like you said, with different brands, people, and it's given the confidence for these, brewers and breweries to take that jump and to do more and put themselves out there. I feel like the whole community since I've joined, you see this shift of everyone sharing knowledge, everyone wants to help each other, and everyone's building each other up, and that's the nice thing to see over the
craft
last
beer
2 years.
community is overall an amazing community.
Yes, it is.
From everybody from owners and brewers to consumers to fans to just everybody is. Of course, there's always going to be a few outliers. That's in every community, but on a whole, I mean, there's no other. I've been in the bar business forever. I ran bars on the strip for 20 years. 99% of the people there are assholes.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
The craft beer community is a whole different ballgame. If I'm having an issue with a beer, I can call 20 different brewers and be like, hey man, this is what's going on, and they'll be like, oh, this is what we do. Do this,
That's
or
awesome.
same vice versa. I just had a phone call with a brewer from a very, very well-known brewer. He was asking my advice, and I'm telling him my advice. It goes both ways,
Exactly.
It's just we're open books.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the good part about that. But let's take a little break. Let's get into the Horus Barrel Aged here, Joe. Go ahead and introduce it.
So
to
it's
us.
still part of that set that we bought, the Otter box set. This one's gonna be Nectar of the Otter. It's a Weller bourbon barrel aged barley wine with vanilla beans added.
So let's go ahead. Cheers.
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 That's a dark barley wine.
So on the nose right away, what do you get, Heron?
Tons
Get
of
kind of like the barrel.
tons of sweetness, tons of caramel.
Kind of
Definitely
gives
barrel.
caramel notes, sweetness. I don't really get vanilla, but I've had a lot of Weller before, so I kind of get that kind of smell.
There's
that I get.
definitely a lot of wet barrel in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is to you guys, Chris. When you're looking at having the beers, what are the things that kind of stand out to you? Because you're kind of on that level of brewing and the collab aspect. So for a beer like this, what are you trying to look into?
I have a little bit of a love-hate with a lot of beers, right? I enjoy all styles besides Rauch beers. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't like smoke. So for me on this to me is going to be more like a pastry barley wine. You're going to get like those adjuncts. So if I read on there that it's barrel aged, I want barrel. If I read on there that it's vanilla, I want to know. I don't want to have to guess.
Yeah.
You want it in your face and like
now,
you want to know.
back in the day, that's the crazy part is, we released that barrel aged stout that I did, and I was actually worried that people wouldn't like it because the trends now is so over the top that if you don't, that's why I put on the wording. It was delicately adjuncted with vanilla because I didn't want people to be like, well, I don't see vanilla floaties in there. I'm not scraping like vanilla off my teeth. I'm not doing all those things. So like as long as you're on the reading on the label and you can get all those things, like to me this is amazing. Great beer. I actually love Horus's beers, in general. We're friends and we have some collabs coming out. We have some barrels together that are coming out. We're doing a lager together.
Awesome to hear. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming out, and I think overall he makes amazing beers.
Oh, they're phenomenal. With Horus, anytime that we've had Horus, it's always like that next level and like, all right, how are they going to top this one? And it seems like they always keep raising the bar on those. And we actually, I did bring your barrel aged today.
That beer is delicious.
It is.
I was super, super happy. And barrel aging, that's a whole nother thing. Same thing, with anybody that does it. You put something in a barrel, we left that in there for 18 months. So we could pull nails and it tastes like shit, and you just dump that out and wasted 18 months.
Yeah.
And that's happened.
Yeah.
Luckily, we pulled the nails on that, and it was right where it needed to be. And it, to me, I'm very happy. That was my first barrel aged beer. Yeah. So for me, I was very happy the way it turned out. I thought, I love packaging and marketing. I come from an art background, so when I see something, I want to be drawn in with my eyes. So using mine as an example, just because we're talking about it, the wax, the black bottle, the label, it all worked for me. Then you open it up, you smell it. It smells like vanilla. It smells like barrel. You pour it. It's dark. It's thick. You taste it. You get start to finish, and that to me is it's an experience. Yeah. If I just want to drink a beer, I'll go grab a cold snack and drink a beer and not think about it. If I'm going to spend whatever, $15-$20 on a bottle of beer, I want the whole package.
Yep.
And that goes along, I tell people all the time, because people are like, well, this brewery makes good beers and they don't really get that much hype. I'm just like, you can't just make good beers anymore. Yeah. It's beyond that. You have to have good social media. Yeah. You have to have good marketing. You have to have good art. You have to have good people that surround you and work with you. On top of all that, you have to make good beer.
Yeah. And so it's just so many layers that you have to have boxes that you have to check off. It's highly competitive. There's a lot of beers out there that are hype beers, but at the same time, they build up that presence and people expect greatness. And I thought when I talked about your beer when it came out, it was very simple, really but it had the notes that you were looking for. So I thought that was clean. The price point, I said it was incredible to have that price point, $15-$16 right there for a barrel-aged stout. People, I was in there at the release, and people were like, "Holy shit! It's that price." They're like,
I've
"Give me
always
four."
tried to do that. I don't want to be the guy that comes out and be like, "It's my first barrel-aged beer. It's $35." Like, I want it to be. Obviously, you have to cost your brand. That way, it doesn't cheapen it, right?
Yep.
If I threw that on the shelf, well, I couldn't. But if I threw it on the shelf for $9, people would be like, "Oh, that beer sucks. It's only $9." But then you don't want to go the opposite way, and people are like, "Man, the beer was really good, but." Man, motherfucker charged me $40 for that. So you have to go into the both. It's just, and also along with, you said it's like a simple, straightforward beer. That was my biggest battle this is the first one. If I didn't come out with a simple, straightforward beer, let's say I came out with something that was German chocolate cupcake with all these things, that sets the bar. Now everything has to be like that. So if I came out with a really good, just straight barrel aged that's vanilla, it's sexy, it's good. Now if I want to do something crazy, they're like, oh, we get this. But if I want to do a couple more that's just simply adjuncted, like a coconut one or whatever, it has that nice bar for people to be like, that they set it already for themselves.
Well, that's what I appreciate, because to do that, it's hard. It's hard to get ones that are so simple yet so delicious and have the complex flavors that you're looking for. And that's a hard thing to achieve, and you did it to where, like you said, you could step up and you could get people to really get behind you, and then you could go wild, and then you could bring in all these fun flavors to really get people excited, and that way it just sets you up for success. So I'm glad and people listening get to see that and hear that whole process from you, because it's a unique process.
30 barrels, so in the next, we're talking like now in the next to winter, I should be releasing like 3 or 4 barrel-aged stouts. I also have a barrel-aged Barleywine. We actually, it's not released or announced yet, but there's actually a Barleywine that Horus, myself, and Mason did that we aged in, I think it was Weller birthday barrels.
Nice.
I have to double check, because we have so many barrels, but I think that's what it was. And it's kind of like a 3-way baller Baracus collab, this whole thing. So we're working on that. that'll be out soon, like in the next month or two.
Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
so you guys heard it here.
Yeah, that's brand new.
Be on the lookout for that. Pay attention for the announcement. I'm pretty sure once that announces, we're gonna be talking about it on the podcast. I know, like the first one that you have, like we were sitting here thinking when the next one's coming, so it's good to hear that it's coming soon. So my next question is, Chris, we kind of already talked about just about the different collaborations, and Heron had a good question that he wanted to ask you about the different styles of beer that you possibly may like. So Heron, go ahead and get your question.
Yeah, so you said you like all beer. I actually like all beer, including the beer that you don't like. So
You like smoked beers?
Yeah, smoked
See,
beers are
I can't do it.
They're interesting.
But I don't even like smoked foods. Like,
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
like cigarettes and cigars, and I don't like the smoky flavor.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of
like
course.
I can taste it, and be like, that's a well-made beer. I don't want to drink it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if you had one style of beer that you could only drink that style of beer, what would that style be?
So I've been a lifelong lambic lover. That's always been my hands-down favorite. My all-time favorite beer in the whole world is Saint Lamb from Cantillon. So it's a
Okay.
period my favorite.
Yeah.
If I was only gonna pick one, just for the rest of my life, it would be like a Pilsner or something I can drink
Okay.
every day. Rathaus, which is my favorite Pilsner. It's just a simple German Pilsner that is amazing. I really like West Coast IPAs a lot. I mean, even I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, which one of your Beer Zombies beers is your favorite? By the time that the beers come out, I've already drinking gallons of it. So I rarely so when we got Zombie Mania, for example, it's on draft right now. I had a pour of it. I was like, cool, it's tasting good. I'm done. I'm not gonna drink anymore. But I'll drink Boomstick and Duck Hunter. That's if someone's like, hey, have a beer with me, cool, I'll pour a Duck Hunter or I'll pour a Boomstick.
So can I tell you that anytime I go and I see a Duck Hunter, it's automatically either the first or second beer I
love that
have.
beer.
That beer is
It came out
phenomenal.
so
And we so I don't know if you've had it recently.
Yes.
So I keep evolving that recipe.
Okay.
Just because it's you can never be complacent, right?
Yeah.
You can make a good beer, and don't get me wrong, let's say the king of West Coast, whatever, we'll say a Pliny. That's probably been the same recipe forever. I'm sure they tweaked it a little bit, but for the most part, it's there. And I'm not saying that's a Pliny, but every time that I drink it, there's a little something in my head that says, oh, you know what, we could tweak this, we could tweak that. This batch that we have right now, we used incognito hops. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yep.
So we're using mostly incognito hops in it, and I absolutely love this batch. It's bright, it's crisp, the hops jump out of the glass. It's got that nice grapefruit bitterness. I tell people if you took a pine baseball bat and smashed grapefruits, that's what I want it to taste like.
Okay,
West
that's nice.
Coast,
That's a
San
good
Diego,
description,
pizza port, old school but light colored. I don't want dark body. I want it to be ripe, crispy, and just snappy. And this one right here is pretty close to where I'm going to run it for a while.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's awesome to hear. So I do have to say, if you ever do sell the handles for the Duck Hunter, just let us know because
we want to be the first one to get one.
Yeah, that was another one of my ADD moments where I was like, man, we need a handle. So I started buying all the Nintendo Zapper guns.
Yes.
I think I could probably contact Guinness Book of World Records and let them know I am the largest holder of those guns because I have 200, 250 of them.
Oh, shit.
Wow. And I make them myself. Another thing my wife loves. She's like, why do you keep doing these things yourselves? But it's just how I work.
Yeah, it's just how it
It's just how you
So
work.
legit, I take them apart, I carve them out, put the handles in there, glue them all back together. Those are real Zapper guns. Those are not something I'm buying. I'm making those. So
Wow. So like I said, if you ever do decide to sell one,
we'll definitely
just
take
let us
one.
know.
we'll work on it for sure.
Yeah. But
Here, I have one more question before we wrap up. So at this point, you've done so much. You kind of changed the game. You've done a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't expect over the years. And now you're to a point, open a new location. You guys are doing collabs all the time. You're really setting the bar, having partnerships, having glassware made, North Park collab, all these things going on at the same time. How do you keep progressing? How do you say, I've done all these great things, I've accomplished all these goals. How do you take it to the next level? And then my second part of the question is, for people starting out, there's a lot of people that think it's overwhelming now because there's so much competition. If you want to do a bottle shop / brewery, what's your advice to people on how to set themselves apart and grow?
So I'll answer it in two parts.
Yep.
So part one of that is I started Beer Zombies in 2013. So next year is the 10-year anniversary of Beer Zombie. By next year, we will have a Beer Zombies brewery open and a second one announced. So 2 breweries either open or at least announced by the next year.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I'm going to reinvent for my 10-year anniversary.
Awesome.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
We're excited.
2 different locations, 2 different states.
Okay.
wow.
And those are not pipe dreams. One is equipment's already ordered. I already put the money down.
Wow.
Building secured, construction has started. I just haven't announced where. Waiting. The second one, we're just waiting for some paperwork to come back, and then I'll announce them both. It'll make more sense when it comes out.
Yes, exactly.
So that's how I'm going to reinvent 2 breweries next year.
Nice.
The second part of that, and this is what I've told, I've had a lot of people hit me up. The most kind of like notable person that I've helped is Edgar from Beer Club Life.
Yeah.
When he was first starting, he was like, hey man, I got these questions. I'd never met him before. I said, dude, here's my phone number. If you're serious about it, call me. So we call and we talk. And I tell him the same thing I tell everybody else. What I have done or what I do is not special. It's not something that everybody can do. It's what it is I never stopped. Yeah. And that's the thing is I've helped a bunch of people get started, and I'll check on them like, what happened? They're like, oh man, it got in the way of my other job and this and that, and it was a lot of work, and I can tell in their voice, I'm like, these guys are done.
They're defeated.
The only difference between me and anybody else is I don't stop and I have a hustle mentality.
Yep.
That's it. Of course, the logo and all those things, but if it wasn't for the fact that I had that mentality, none of that stuff would have mattered.
Yeah.
And that's really, honestly, like I said, I'm an open book. I am the only person that runs the social medias, so if anybody ever has a question, I answer all the DMs, and my number's everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys shoot me a text. Call, I probably won't answer, but I get texts all the time like, hey man, I got a question. I don't even know who it is because they don't say who they are.
Yeah.
I got a question about this, blah, blah, blah. And I, boom, answer them back. Oh, thanks for your help. Still don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Because that's the saying. It's a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's a motto that I will live by forever. I want to make sure that the community that has given so much to me, which is fun, pleasure, friendship. My best friends are the people that I met through this. I met my wife serving her beer, this is my life.
Yeah.
So what is given to me, it's more important to give back to other people.
Exactly.
And that's why I said it's the only difference. Just don't stop. Don't stop. If you can do that, you'll be successful. And it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There's that. I seen it on like Instagram or something like, give up your corporate job, working 40 hours a week for someone else, so you can work for yourself. 90 hours a week, 365 days a year. Yep. That's my life.
That is the truth.
I don't stop working. It's to the point where I have to schedule times to not work.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining. That's not a complaint. It's more of the fact that it's a passion, it's a love, but it's also.
But you still have to carve
you
out.
You have to find
yourself,
the balance.
your family.
I also have 4 kids and a wife,
Yeah.
and I travel all the time, and I have 5 different locations, and I have, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of time management. But as long as you don't stop, that's the main thing. Don't stop. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what we appreciate, because we always see you revamping, keep pushing, and keep going. There might be a slow period, but there's still something being out there.
There's always something in the works.
Yeah.
And then
I always got
we
something in the
always
works.
see you at the shop. Like that's the thing. It's like mind blowing. Is you're always at events. You're always checking.
And you're
in
behind the bar
locations,
working and doing
or
everything.
covering shifts for your employees and helping. Like
I'm giving Vinny a day off on Tuesday. I'm gonna be here all day.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
The same thing. Like if we're gonna go to a festival, I want to be there.
Yep.
The person that is it. I think that's the difference is coming up as like a consumer, as a fan of the hobby. I would love to go into festivals and be like, oh, like that's the dude that made the beer. Like, I fanboy out about stuff like this too. Like there's certain things, like I'm not gonna lie, Jay Wakefield was on my list, my bucket list of collabs. Like, because I've been drinking his beers for years, and the dude was cool as hell. And
he's such a
we
great
had
guy.
a good time, and it's all these things. Like, I'm just like anybody else. I have bucket lists. I want to make sure I would do a stout with Moisture coffee. It's because growing on this. This whole scene, it's like everybody that did cool stuff did it with them. So I have my own bucket list stuff. Don't think it's not just it's everybody.
Exactly,
It's everybody.
But that's the thing is, I want to make sure I'm there. I'm talking to people. I'll make Vinny shotgun the beers. I'm not doing that anymore. And
you're like, I'm past that point.
I mean, I'm getting older, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm, it's me. It was built on me. So
Exactly.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit with us, drink a little bit, and kind of get to know you a little bit better and give advice to everybody that's going to listen and watch this. Thank you again, and hopefully we'll see you around here when the bottle share starts happening.
I'll be here.
Oh, awesome. But we're going to kind of wrap this part up with Chris, and then we're going to go ahead and get Vinny and bring Vinny on. So we're going to cut the video and the podcast here, and we're going to bring Vinny on.
And then we'll put it right after. So stay tuned.
We're taking a commercial break.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back to After Dark Hours here with Vinny, the one and only Vinny, the legend of Vinnys, the one that we love the most, Vinnys. How's it going, Vinny?
Yeah, there's gonna be some controversy after
good,
that
man.
one. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be challenged by a whole bunch of Vinnies now.
But it's okay because you're the only Vinny that matters.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks.
Yeah, he's Mr. Meeseeks,
at
you're
me.
Vinny. So for you guys that don't know, Vinny is the, what do we call you?
Oh man, we've been trying to
Part
figure out
owner,
what...
part he's just a
I don't
man
even
of all
know.
trades.
You know what? My job over the years has been making sure that Chris is able to do his job.
Okay.
I've never really had a set title.
So you're the get shit done guy.
Yes.
Okay, so
There you
we're
go. I
gonna
like that.
introduce you as the get shit done kind of
There
guy.
you go.
You know?
I'll take it.
So Vinny is the man over here at Boulder City Beer Zombies, and
This
we
is
wouldn't.
his baby.
This is his baby, and we wouldn't be able to do this bottle share without him here. So we appreciate you for that. And so, like, we kind of already got the background of like beer zombies, but we want to be kind of tuned in on this location and what you kind of have idea for this place because it just opened like 3 weeks ago.
2 weeks, like
2 weeks?
Yeah.
So like, what do you got planned? What do you got cooking? I know yesterday you had yoga. You've been having live music. So what do you got cooking up?
I mean, the best thing about this location is the size.
Yes.
You know, and the fact that we're in Boulder City. Boulder City's been a place that I've frequented a lot over the years. Chris, our families. It's definitely a place that we like to come to. The fact that we have a bigger location gives us the opportunity to do mini beer festivals, special beer, craft beer events. I mean, like for example, you brought up yoga. We had over 50 people last night doing beer and yoga.
That's so awesome.
Drinking, hanging out, and having a blast.
Can I tell you, I was disappointed that we couldn't make it, but we had to record part 1 of this episode. So next time that you have it, hopefully I can kind of sneak away and go do some yoga.
Yeah,
Definitely. You should come for our stripper class.
Ooh.
Yeah,
ooh.
craft beer and stripping. So the whole idea of what
Hey,
we're
you're
doing
gonna put
here,
a pole right in the middle right here?
yeah, the whole idea is just to do a whole bunch of fun different events, tap takeovers, and just show Boulder City and this side of town how much we love craft beer.
Yeah, because that was kind of like, we are on the theme of asking questions based off of like the person or who's here. So with you, my thing was, this was your baby. Now that it's accomplished, one, how does it feel to finally get this going? Are you still riding on that high, or now you're kind of in that mode of like, how can I make this even better? How can I top what I've already done? Like, what new events, new ideas can I do for this location to make it number one?
I mean, shit, that was a tough fucking
I know,
question.
right?
It's a loaded question.
B. I go with the answer B. No, you know, this beer zombie, I guess what's the way to put it? This beer zombie invasion has been just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we've been doing this. This location has been the one that I've had the most control on, and I'm able to have a say on things and keep it going. The only reason that's possible is because of the things that I've learned from Chris.
Yes.
So where we go from here, I'll be honest, no idea. Where does Beer Zombies go from here? Again, just more growth, more zombies, and more invading more places. But I guess just like I said, bringing this side of town some more fun events and more craft beer and seeing things that other people haven't seen.
Yeah, that's
All
awesome.
right, so
Hey.
since you kind of answered that one, let's kind of get into this beer because this beer looks delicious in front of us.
Yeah, so
JB,
this
go
is,
ahead.
hey, we all know my love for Triple Jasper, but this one is Triple Jasper at Nelson. A little bit different vibe. It's not as juicy, but we wanted to have Vinny try it, so here it is.
Salute.
I'm a Nelson
Cheers.
guy.
So hopefully this lives up to the hype.
Here you go, Mr. James.
Oh yeah. See, that's why I love Nelson hops. So you get that little bit of spice. You know, I drink a lot of ryes, like rye whiskeys,
Yeah.
and rye, so I like that herbal and spiciness of the hop on this.
Okay. So, like with this type of beer, this hit all the check marks that you were kind of looking for, yeah?
Oh, color's beautiful. I mean, it's crushable, but what are we running in? What's the ABV on this? 10?
10%.
10?
Triple, yep.
I mean, you get in the Nelson hop, it's coming through beautifully. Like, look at how bright it is.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not love triples?
That is a very bright color, and let me tell you, for a triple, this is very smooth.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like it's a triple. It's not like one of those ones where triples normally like stand out for like, oh my god, this is like really heavy, really like up in your face. This is like really smooth, laid back. Almost feels like a double in a way.
Yellow milk.
Yellow milk. So Heron,
We know what kind of questions you like to ask,
Yeah.
but kind of give it to Vinny because we want to hear his opinion on this
I
one.
mean, I'll stick it right in.
that's what she
Whoa, that's
All
what she
right,
said.
so I was 15. All right, never mind. Go on. Just go on. Ask the question.
You're welcome.
said. He said you're welcome.
So, one. All right, there's two parts to this. One, preference on style of beer to shotgun. 2, preference on style of beer to drink forever, and you can't ever switch.
Preference on a beer to shotgun will probably be just American lager.
Okay.
Keep it simple. I like, what I've learned is my body's accustomed to doing those because that's what I've shotgunned the most.
Yeah.
And beer to drink for the rest of my life will be a barrel-aged, non-adjuncted Imperial Stout.
Nice.
Nice.
That is rare. That's
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah, I love that answer.
I mean, over the years, I've loved all different types of craft beer. I've tried a whole bunch of different kinds, but my love and where I find myself always going back to is the non-adjuncted barrel-aged stouts.
And this is why we say you're the one and only Vinny, because not a lot of people will say the non-adjunct stouts like that.
120 degrees, I'll drink it. Yeah.
Ooh, well, good, because we got a couple of stouts we brought today.
Oh,
so,
okay, all right.
So you know we're gonna have you have some with us, hopefully. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm getting drunk today with you boys.
Okay. So my next question is, Vinny, when you heard about this place, like, what was your first thoughts, like, of Boulder City? Was like, what was your initial reaction?
Oh, first one, I was like, oh shit, they're about to get some craft beer. Literally in my head, I was like, they're not ready. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like I said, I came to Boulder a lot, and the only time I ever went craft beer heavy was with the Boulder City Beer Festival that they do out here. And then Cornish recently opened up here, and I would always, I hit them up a couple times.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I was like, oh, we're gonna come in with all the good stuff and show this town what's up. So it was exciting. It's still exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting because when we first heard about this place, we're like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a cooler place." Like it's a bigger venue than most of the beer zombies because most of them are attached to Skinny Fats or it has its own location, but it doesn't have the size of this place. So
Size matters, huh?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
does.
what you're saying?
That's exactly what
size
it is.
matters because sometimes I'm not complaining about the other places.
Well, those other locations use their size quite well.
Yeah,
but,
they use their size.
It's all about the motion in the ocean.
Yeah, the motion in the ocean. But now, you're able to put on a little bit more events here. Because at the smaller locations, you're kind of limited to certain things. But now, since you're in a big location like this, you can do a lot of things. And, I was here for the grand opening, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we were here for the roast. So to see how it looked like at the roast and then seeing it when it's the grand opening was like, oh, okay, this is what this place is meant for. And seeing everybody out there for the grand opening was amazing. And that just speaks to the work that Chris, you, and everybody else at Beer Zombies has put into this place. So we applaud you. We thank you for everything that you guys have done for us, especially you. My first memory of coming into Warm Springs was you were like, all right, what do you want? What do you feel? What do you like? What do you want? What do you like? And I told you, and you're like, all right, grab this, this, and this, and tell me which one you want from there. And so, from there, you kind of help the addiction, the hobby, the fun times
Definitely
at Beer
addiction.
Zombies.
Passion. Call it the
Yeah,
passion.
Addiction, passion, all the things.
It's everything. And
Well-
I always have Beer Zombies, and you will always have a little special place in my heart.
Oh, that means a lot, man. Thank
Yeah.
you. Honestly, it's fun for me.
Yeah.
I could have done a lot of different things, but the beer's always been passionate, and the customer service and being in the restaurants and bars, it's just fun. I can meet somebody new, and the same day they're my friend, and by the end of the night, we're drinking buddies and best friends.
Yeah.
What other job can you have where you have an experience like that every day?
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's not many.
Yeah.
There's very few. Because that was kind of another question I thought that would be interesting for you. Because I don't think we've really heard the journey of craft beer for you.
Oh, God, you don't want to hear that.
No, we want to hear it. That's why we asked it.
That's why we're asking. Because I feel like you've done so much. You've been a part of so many different, just events and different things. And you're the
Milestones.
guy that will go and after the event party with everyone and go out and do all these fun things. And there's the party, the after party, and then the Vinny after party after that. I've seen the stories.
Wait. You forgot all the pre-gaming stuff before
Oh
that.
yeah, I know. I was focusing on the after, but yeah, you're right. The pre-game's probably just as much.
I mean, I have a lot of energy, and I guess I just focus it on making sure everybody has a good time.
Yeah.
That's I don't know where it comes from. There's moments. After pre-COVID, when we did our last Beer Zombie Festival for last Saturday of February, we did a week of events leading up to that. And then we went and did it. The event was 3,000 people. Then we did the after party the next day. It was like 7-8 days straight of just bangs, tap rooms.
That's
like, all
the
this
definition of a marathon, right there.
Yeah. I took like 5 days off after that. And I went to Virginia and actually just beer hopped and brewery hopped and drank anyway.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, I never really believed that saying when they said, "Hey, do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life." That shit's real. Like, you really find something that you love and you do it. It's not work. It's just hanging out with the boys, or just doing something that makes time fly by so fast.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people like to gravitate towards Beer Zombies, is because like all the bartenders and all the people there, it's more of the experience more than it is just about the beer. Like everywhere that you go to Beer Zombies, everybody's welcoming. Everybody has like the nature to it, and like you are the definition of like welcoming people with open arms.
Oh, hey, you fucks, what's up?
Yeah.
You like hear that?
Well, that's what's cool about this location, because the small locations, you're forced to talk, right? That's what we like. Like, you're forced to interact with people. People come in, they're like, oh, all these people are having conversations, all these people are sharing beers. Like, they walk in, they're like, hey, you want to share a beer? And they're like, yeah. And then then they get into it and they start talking to you. They're forced. So that was the thing, like with downtown Summerlin, there's a little bit more space. How do you get that interaction? And then this location's even bigger. So to see the grand opening, to see it now the couple times we've gone since the grand opening, I just think you're the perfect person to be that like catalyst to branch the old school vibes of the small location to a new location and get people to talk to each other, have a good experience, because that's the thing I think that was missing for a bigger location. How can you capture that magic that's easier to obtain in a small location to here? And I think that's going to be the key to this location. I think we've already seen it the last couple times we're here. It's fun. You just like to invite people for a good time. There's always an interaction or just stuff to do, and you engage to people to where they're like, yeah, we'll hang out, we'll talk to other people, we'll let our guard down, because that's something that's so important that we've talked about on the show before. Is we want to make it inclusive. We want everyone to have a good time, and a lot of people come into a brewery or a bottle shop with a guard up. And I think that's one of the most important parts that we've seen from Beer Zombies and you guys, to just drop that guard. It's always fun. It's like, hey, you want a shotgun? And they'd be like, oh shit. And you see people that probably haven't shotgun in 5 to 10 years be like, you know what? I just like the vibe, and everyone's like cheering them on, and everyone's like, all right, let's go.
Well, you also forgot about the Thunderbird.
Wait, off of what Joseph's saying. Off of what Joseph's saying.
He's like, I'm gonna ignore that.
I'm gonna ignore that.
Definitely
Definitely gonna ignore that. I know this is gonna sound kind of weird and a weird concept, but I feel like the reason why we have this atmosphere and like everything that's going on is Chris has worked so hard. I've worked very hard. All of us have put in time with Beer Zombies, and probably more time in these locations than our actual homes.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these places become our homes.
Yes.
And it's no different than if we were to have you guys come into our houses. So it's kind of like, we're being hospitable and enjoying ourselves, and, just welcome to our home.
Yeah.
And let your guard down.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off.
Yeah.
But keep your shoes on. But you know what I mean?
Don't get us in trouble. But
yeah. But, it's just so much fun, and especially meeting you guys over the past year. Like, this has definitely been one of my favorite fucking crews
we just
coming
show
in.
up. We'll come in and people will just be like hanging out, and we're like, all right, share time, let's get everything going.
Yeah, get everything going and kind of keep
beers,
going from
like
there.
Have a good time.
And
so
what you kind of said though is like how this place becomes your home. You guys take pride, and it's crazy because each location, it's kind of the same group of people, and each location is different in their own ways, and that's what I think keeps bringing people back, and why everybody kind of goes around to the different locations, is because one day you want to, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go see Vinny, he's gonna make me shotgun,
or hey, I'm looking for this vibe.
Or I'm gonna go down to Warren Springs and hang out with Matt and see what shenanigans he's on. Or you go down to Warren Springs,
classier vibe, or if you want to go like catch a baseball game, like, hey, I'm gonna go hit DTS, visit Ryan, have a couple just beers over there, because each location just has that own vibe,
their own identity.
Their own identity.
So cool. to be able to do that, but yet all be under the same brand. You guys still represent like the same message and the same all-togetherness of the beer community. And that's why we could seamlessly go to location to location and just go to the bar, and like we're so comfortable now hanging out with you guys. We'll just start talking to people at the bar, getting them into conversation, sharing beers. And it's so cool because you just meet people, they'll be out of state or be like, hey, I heard about Beer Zombies. And we're like, oh, you picked the right place to go. Let's share some beers. And they'll be like, oh, we appreciate you. We'll follow you. We'll, keep in touch. So we've met so many people just because of the fact that
The networking from Beer Zombies.
Yes.
it's just incredible. People just love to go in there, and at first they're shy because like they don't understand, and then they're like, oh, now I get it. Now I understand why everyone says go to Beer Zombies, why they're on social media and everyone's always liking their stuff, sharing their stuff. It's just been so cool for us to meet so many people from multiple states that were a little shy when they first came in, but by the end of it, like we keep in touch with some of these people. We've traded with them, or at the very least, they'll like everything that we post up. We like them, so it's just like a mutual support because they really enjoy their time at Beer Zombies and hanging out with us, and it's just like a little family. We love it. We enjoy everything about
Growing
it.
the community.
Yeah.
So I got one question for you, and we'll wrap it up on this.
Yeah.
The last question I have for you: what is your all-time favorite beer that you have had?
Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock? Who's it by?
Rolling Rock?
I'll go.
Yeah?
It's by Rolling. It's
Yeah?
a green bottle. No,
Yeah.
my favorite beer of all time was.
I have it at my house. It was an Equilibrium Moxa collab. Was it the EM? It wasn't. Damn it! You know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna go home tonight.
Take a
I'm gonna
picture
take a picture of
and
the
we'll put it
bottle,
in
and you're
here.
gonna post
Yeah,
it.
we'll
in
insert
we're
it
gonna
into
edit
the
it
video.
into
It was
the
like a
video.
Mostra. It was like a Mostra Equilibrium collab. It was a barrel aged, non-adjuncted stout, and it was fucking phenomenal.
They do such fire shit.
Hey,
especially-
Heron, I'm going to apologize in advance. You got a lot of editing to do.
Yeah, we're gonna make you put the pictures in, some videos.
I'll work. I'll charge you guys double hourly.
All right. But I do got to say, Vinny, we do appreciate everything you do for Beer Zombies and for the community. One of these times, we got to have you on, and we got to just do a whole episode dedicated to Vinny.
We'll just have an episode where we get really, really stoned and drink whiskey.
Hey,
Okay, that sounds
let's
good.
do that. That sounds like a good time too. Yeah, we'll do
So
that.
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. We'll see what works with your schedule. I know you're gonna be really busy with here, so we'll try to see what works
we'll make
with
it
you.
happen.
We'll make it happen. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. You can find us at Brews with the Homies or on Instagram at BrewsWTH. Also, Facebook is Brews with the Homies. Until next time, we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Thank you guys.
Cheers.
Later.